Hey, another episode of I Mustache You a Question with Jen and James. Thanks everybody for joining us. Jen, how are you? I know we
yours looks tighter.
What was that?
Your mustache and beard looks tighter. Did you just get it trimmed, Olin?
Yeah, I got it trimmed. My wife actually, she enjoys trimming my beard. That's something I just found out. I got this new razor, and yeah, she did this little thing down here too that I'd never done before. But yes, I'm all fresh and clean. But man, what a crazy 2 weeks. I know we weren't on last week, both of us. Apparently, we're still in the process of move, and we've had all kinds of stuff going on here in that move because it's not all at once. And I heard that you had a really good sales day yesterday or last Wednesday.
We did. Crazy. And I'm trying to remember what the it was just chaos in the morning, and we had a snafu for staffing, and I could have totally come, but I boneheaded it. It was like thinking about it, and then someone asked me a question, and then I totally. So it's totally me being a dork.
Oh no, I was slammed too. I know Joey and I were here, and I had like a hard out at like in a half an hour, like after it started, and it was just. Yeah, it's been crazy. We've had a few people out sick at HQ, so I've been kind of filling in the gaps there. Taxes are due. For those people who don't know, that extensions with business taxes is September 15th. So I've been working on that I didn't realize how many businesses I have, not just part of Scout, because I handle the Scout taxes. I have my writing. I call it Jamestown Productions, where all my writing stuff goes through. And then I have my financial service, and then I have my personal, and then I own this cleaning company, like a portion of it. Oh my gosh, it's a nightmare, guys. It's a nightmare. On top of a move, on top of like so many good things happening. And I'll tell you what, like it's a blessing and a curse is this phone, right? Like I'll get calls, and we've had some incredible calls, like just general meetings that we've been taking, some with Mosaic, some with just general, creators, wink, wink. And, I take it when I can, but it just messes up the whole day. Like I know we've talked about it on the show in the past, and I'm sure it's really big from a publishing end and from a store end is time management, like how important time management is and how it can get away from you so quickly. And in this day and age of the pandemic, I mean, people know like just by having like outbreaks or COVID scares, how that can throw a wrench in all kinds of different plans. But, yeah, it's been a crazy week. I think next week I'm going to be doing the show from a hotel room because I'm a financial advisor. A lot of people don't know that, but I run my own practice, and I manage this big welding company up in the Carolinas, and it's their open enrollment. So I got to go up there next week, and it happens to be on. Oh, actually, it's on Tuesday. So perfect. I thought I was going to have to do it like pull aside and do it from the. From the offices there, but no, I'll be doing it from a hotel room for sure. But yeah, I have to go up there, and I basically meet with nearly 100 people in 6 hours. So it's always fun. Again, they're great people, but they're hourly people. So a lot of times, and they get paid to talk to me. Yeah. And a lot of them want to milk that time. They're like, so tell me all about life, James. And it's like, I've learned being in sales for a long time, how to like kind of speed up the conversation to knock it out. Because again, time management and one long conversation can knock you out, like just mess up the rest of your day. So
I don't know if I could ever do that job.
What was that?
I don't know if I could ever do that job where I have to like cut off conversation. Retail's a little more free form, except for when, you have a real specific thing you have to come do. But, I love talking to people about their family life stuff.
Oh, I do too. And that was one of the things I had to adapt, or I would have like failed, quite honestly, because there's not enough time in the day, and you have to. I mean, as you know, I can talk all day long. Like I enjoy talking as well, but it was just training. Like I took courses, which is crazy. And when I originally worked for Edward Jones, which is one of the biggest brokerage houses out there. I was there for, 5 years. And at the time I was one of the youngest brokers hired. I was hired right out of college. I was 20, just turned 21. And they have like this comprehensive, amazing training program. And one of my minors in college, like I minored in college, my major was finance, and I minored in interpersonal communication. And part of the reason knowing I was going to go into sales, and you can like read people, right? Like
Yeah.
Just it's something that I haven't mastered. I don't think you ever can master it, but I've definitely learned a lot
Body
how
language.
to. What was that? Yeah, like
Closed body language, except for if you're like me and your back hurts, so you stand like that all the time.
Yeah. It's so fascinating, like dealing with clients, like different people. You know, you have a husband and wife who are older, and it looks at the initial part of the conversation that maybe the husband is the one who makes the decisions, but you realize it's the actual wife who's making decisions just based on it's fascinating. It's one part that I love about sales is that you can read it, and I feel like I really have I can read the room really well. And I hope I never lose that aspect. But yeah, it's such a weird dynamic going from one business to the other. Because again, this whole scout thing and comic writing, I've just been such a fan for so long, and like this, I never thought I'd be like on this end of the industry. Like I always just thought I was, financial advice. I mean, I'm going on my 20th year of being a stockbroker, and like how much Scout has grown and just the industry itself has grown. It's just been wild.
Have you always been a person that wants to fill all your moments with some cool new project?
Yeah. I've always when I say I've been a diehard, like our manager, Patrick, I was talking with him last night, and like I have so much useless comic knowledge in my head. And I was just telling him about books that he had never heard of. Like, and a lot of them were, I've always been a fan of like independent comics. Like just always been a fan. And, he's always looking for things to produce and to find like the things. I was like, man, I have a laundry list of titles that people probably have never even heard of that I think would make great movies. And one of them that I brought up, it was by a guy named Adam Beecham. It's called Hench. Do you remember that book called Hench?
Totally remember Hench.
Oh, yeah. It's like a one shot, like almost not quite a trade paperback. And I was like, man, this book was incredible. I think it was he like republished it recently because the rights went back to him. And I was just going over all these different like books last night. I was like writing him a list. I was going through my like comic collection. I was just looking at like ones that I absolutely loved. Do you remember Elephant Men?
Yes, absolutely.
By Richard Starkings. Like I love
gorgeous art. Such good art.
Oh, and the story is so good about like, it's like a Blade Runner feeling with like these animals that were like produced to be war machines, and then it's them dealing with like PTSD. Like it's such a phenomenal series. And I think it originally started as like Hip Flask was the name of the main character. Like that was another one that I really loved. Brian Wood as a writer, like I was noticing all the different things that I love, like Briggs Land that he did with Dark Horse. He did this IDW book called Supermarket. Did you ever read that?
I don't think I read that.
The art is incredible. It's by Kristen Davila. I want to say her. No, wait, Kristen Davila is one of our employees. Never mind.
You just had a Miss Jen moment.
Yes. You should look at it. It's a 4-issue miniseries by Brian Wood. The art is so cool, and it's such a cool story. That was another one that I was looking at. But yeah, I just have like a lot of like useless comic knowledge that I was like sharing with them. And I just love the medium, and I love good stories. Oh, here's another one. Elk's Run. Did you ever read that one? It was an Oni Press one.
I'll have to go find these.
Yes.
The one I want to see made, and of course it would have to be like a really mature rating, is Oink.
Oh, Oink was awesome. Yes.
Brutal.
Crossed. Have you read Crossed by Garth Ennis?
Man, you would have to check people's IDs at the door. That's some.
For Crossed, yeah.
We had to take it off of our sales floor because kids kept on getting into it. And I'm like, what? I'm going to destroy some kid. He's going to become a serial killer.
Yeah, I'll tell you that first. It is. I tell people it's a more effed up version of Preacher and Walking Dead. And boy, I'll tell you those first 8 issues, like that first story arc, man, powerful stuff. But yes, pretty not quite. I don't even know how to explain that one, but man, it's well done. But yeah, it is super adult. Super adult. That was another.
You have to watch something afterwards. Is a palate cleanser. If you're gonna read it, you have to okay, I got to read something else. It's
kind of like when you eat sushi and you're supposed to eat that ginger, to cleanse the palate before you eat something else.
Yep.
Yeah, but with Crossed, using that same sushi analogy, you got to take a ball of like wasabi and put it in your mouth and just forget. Like it's crazy. So did you get hit by the hurricane at all?
No, we didn't get any effects from it.
That's good.
I know there's a lot of people in the area that have kind of evacuated to here, and it sounds like they're going to have to be here for a while because I think the earlier reports were that they weren't going to get any electricity going for weeks and weeks.
That sucks, and it's in the middle of the summer too. I mean, that's well, I guess we're at the dog days of summer, usually in August. So it's in that area. They'll start getting nice at least in October. So maybe it's probably by the time they get the air conditioning, it'll be right when the fall hits and it's beautiful weather outside. But that's awesome or awful, I should say. And we're just getting I know September, October is really when it starts pumping up those hurricanes. And I know you're in the Houston area, so you guys always have some flooding issues. Henry got you bad, right? Was it Henry or Hank?
We got destroyed with Harvey.
Harvey, that's what it was. I knew it was an H.
That was the one that just kind of came on shore, stuck around for a little while, went back offshore, and got stronger.
And then came back on. Yeah.
There was so much rain that they actually can see with Google Earth, when they do the latitude, longitude, they can actually see the lowering of our area.
Wow.
The weight of the water smushed us down.
And I know that flooding was devastating. Did you experience a lot? I know one of our friends, mutual friends, Joshua Starnes at Red 5, I know he was going through a hard time. I don't think he could get in his house for a while during that period of time, and he's in the Houston area. Did you guys get out okay? The store get damaged at all, or?
We kind of weirdly where the store is, all around it, all the neighborhood stuff around it got really flooded, but the store was fine. So we kind of used the store for a long time as kind of like a fundraising place. We didn't really intend to have any real business. People would come and donate things, and people would come in and buy the things that were donated, and we had adopted 15 families. So these were people that were either direct customers of ours, or they were the parents of our direct customers or things like that. So we knew who they were. So we were giving the money to people we knew instead of to a general organization.
We were the last hurricane that hit our area really hard was Irma. And that basically was it was a monster hurricane that just engulfed the entire state of Florida. But it happened to hit us directly. And it was kind of crazy because the storm surge, I guess, is what gets you really awful, especially when you're this low to sea level like we are. And they were expecting, I'm not in a flood area, but I remember on the local news, they have those the AR technology where you have the weather person. They're like, all right, this is 9 foot of flood water. And it's this virtual reality type of scenery. And it shows the flood going all the way up above a house. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So we had to move. We went to the middle part of the state in Orlando, which is 3 hours away, and it was really bad. There was power out here without 3 weeks. But we did a special printing of solar flare. That's when the first trade came out, and we donated the proceeds to the Harry Chapin Food Bank. I'm not sure if that's local or if that's a national chain, but I know it's really big here local. But yeah. Hurricanes are no joke, man. And when we live in these areas, I think Joey was telling us, I think I saw a post that Joey, the guy who does such an amazing job running the show for us, he lives in Arizona. And I could have swore he posted something that Arizona was supposed to feel an effects of another, a tropical depression or storm that was on the Pacific coast.
Yep.
That was
coming straight up the peninsula and headed to them.
I think that's the first time ever for that. Yeah, lots of rain. Joey says lots of rain in Phoenix, which I'm sure they don't get lots of rain in the desert. And
only in monsoon season.
What was that?
Only in monsoon season.
Yeah. Oh, we do in monsoons, I guess. Yeah, I'm still learning the desert. Summer is when you get a bad. I got you. Well, tell me what else is going on. How was your new comic day today? Has it been pretty good? Anything huge come out?
Just like everything else during the pandemic era, there was a big shipment delay from Diamond to the UPS main hub. So everyone in our area, I think it's all of Texas, and then anybody else that gets stuff out of that 18-wheeler, I don't even have an idea of how many other places were affected, but it delayed everything for 24 hours, which, we've got, because of our experience with delays from hurricanes and all those other kinds of things, we've got game plans in place to actually make sure that we can still sell books. So we do dumb things like this, where we make paper versions of them.
Yeah, I've seen that when you do the review. Yeah.
So for people to say you can't sell just pieces of paper, they just haven't tried yet.
And it works, right? You've been doing that for a while.
Yeah, I mean, all the customer wants to know is that they're actually for sure going to get their book. And instead of saying, you know, come back tomorrow, and a lot of them, I mean, they only have so much time in their day to schedule or to be able to come pick up. So this way, at least they know they've got it set aside for them and they don't have to stress out. I surely don't want to add to the stress of the situation.
I just think that's the new norm. I mean, we were talking before the show starts, like some of the things that we've been dealing with on the publishing side is delays. So not only do you have shipping delays, but you have distributor delays, you have printing delays, there's shortages of supplies like paper, cardboard. Not a lot of people know, but cardboard in the past like 3 months, the price has increased by like 30, sometimes up to 40%, which is just insane. It's absolutely insane.
This last week, no lie, James, I call my supplier every single week. And I just say whatever. I said, what's my allotment for this week? I don't even ask them what they have in stock anymore because they don't have hardly anything. So I usually just take my allotment of whatever they have. But I asked them about short boxes because they haven't had short boxes in 2 or 3 weeks. And she was like, well, I got short box bottoms in, but no tops. And I was like, I'll take them. I mean, that's how desperate we are. We're like, we'll take it. That sounds great.
Hey, do you need some tops? We have tons of tops that we don't use that I can send your way. Free of charge.
I would love
It's so funny that I said that you mentioned that because I was literally upstairs at the old HQ, and we keep a lot of our shipping supplies up there. And there's just mounds upon mounds of long box because we had when you move, you get a lot of long boxes, and we just don't really need them per se. So I'll send you some if you want.
Yeah, I really just need short box lids if you have those.
Okay, you need short. We have short box lids, not as many as long box lids, but we do have shorty lids too. So I'll get those, and those are easier to send anyway. So
it's so funny is you probably could, like, for your long box stuff, you could probably sell them for the same prices that you paid for them, or even new box price, because that's what we ended up doing. We have the drawer boxes. You can't get drawer boxes at all, but we used to have them in our back room as our A to Z boxes for overstock, and we did away with that and went to shelving. But they're like lightly used ones, but we're selling them for the same price as new ones because you can't get them anyway.
Yeah, we used to do. It's so funny that you said that. We had those the filing ones as well, and we stopped using them. It just because it got too overwhelming of everything that all the stock we'd get in. You use, like, with the shelving, did you build them yourself, or do you have a shelving place that you go to?
It's so funny. So we put all of our bills onto our High Point credit cards. We pay them off every month, so we don't ever carry any debt. But about every 6 months, we take all of our points and turn them in for gift certificates to Home Depot and go buy racking, so we don't ever have to pay for any of our furniture.
That's awesome. Points is the new interest, everybody. Points is the new interest. Bank accounts don't pay interest like they once did. I mean, most kids growing up don't even realize that, like, really, bank accounts pay interest because it's been so long since they've actually paid interest. But yes, by collecting those points, making sure you pay it off when you can, and hopefully soon. But that's what we do. The same thing is just building up these points. And yeah, we've been, it's been wild. Did I talk to you since the big photo shoot that we had?
I know that I reposted something that Brendan had put up, and then he was like, "Can you take those down? Because we're in trouble now."
Yeah, Brendan and I got slapped on the wrist. Apparently, you're not supposed to share proofs with these big magazines because they want exclusive right to put the pictures out first. We didn't know. We're new to the game. So we got slapped on the wrist, but we now just got approval of which posts that we're allowed to use, which pictures, because they went through all these different photo things and said, we want this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. You can use the rest. So yeah, it was really fun. It was crazy because we just got back from MegaCon when we had our photo shoot, like literally the night before. And then at least I did with the staff here, and all the partners kind of flew in and or drive in from the if those who lived in Florida, and it was awesome. My mom and sister made like this potluck like dinner. My mom's Italian; she makes amazing sauce and pasta. So we had like this. It was just a really cool bonding session, and yeah, it was hilarious. We had some funny stuff. Don, one of our partners, we call him Sprinkles.
What? Explain.
So, oh, and you have to like, oh, he'd kill me for saying this, but I am so happy to say this. So we call him Sprinkles because we were at New York Comic Con, and it was like just a big event where we're all signing this paperwork that made Scout into this new, like, bigger company.
I know
And
exactly
like,
what day that was.
Yeah, you were there. You remember. Exactly. So we're walking after the day. I think it was like a Saturday night of the con. It was a great day. And we're walking from the Javits Center to Brendan's day job. It was like this arcade. He worked at Assemble Media, and they had this party where it was like this old school arcade. And we're all walking together because we're going to go there. And it was like, you know, free food and drinks. So we're like, yeah, it's great. And we were going to do the paperwork at a, actually, those were just drinks. We were going to eat at a Thai restaurant, and that's where we signed it. But anyways, we couldn't find Don. Like, all of a sudden, it's like, where's Don? We're all together in New York City. We can't find him. And we're just like looking around for Don. Well, Don went to by the way, we're going to dinner. Yep. Don went to a truck, like one of the food trucks there, and he bought an ice cream cone with Sprinkles. And he's like, hey guys, just unbeknownst, and he's got this really cool like Beastie Boys jacket on, and oh, it's hysterical. And he's just eating, and Brendan's like, dude, that's so Hollywood. He's like, what? And we're like, dude, Sprinkles. So we tease him, we call him Sprinkles. It's hysterical. So yeah, we brought him ice cream with Sprinkles when he was here. So, you know, we had to keep with everything.
Mm-hmm. Which was going now.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, it's just been so busy here and prepping for New York Comic Con. That's what I was just talking to you again off channel about, is we've been going back and forth because of all the, you know, the rise of COVID again, and just not knowing if the con's still gonna happen. I know there's all types of restrictions, and they've gotten tighter and tighter. And I know some big conventions at the Javits Center, at least in the month of August, were canceled. And I mean, it's just tough because from a publisher standpoint and a creator standpoint, it's a lot of money to do a con like that. Like, just the logistics of sending stuff there, making sure it's staffed, you know, flights. Like MegaCon, for example, we paid for that at the early 2019. You know, and MegaCon was last
time to make that ride.
Yeah, 3 weeks. So this is like, we paid for the booth months and months ago. Mm-hmm. So that's the fear. It's like, okay, I know we'll eventually get our money back per se, but do we need to have that money tied up for another 2 years, you know, or another year? Who knows? So it's one of those decisions where we have to roll the dice on some stuff, but we have so many big announcements that are coming out like right around there. Mm-hmm. So it's very, very important. So it's one of those decisions that, you know, we're just not sure. I think we're going to have some sort of presence no matter what. I think that's what the consensus is, but we just don't know. I mean, we have to make a decision soon, right? It's September 1st today.
Oh, yeah. Well, so pretty sure no matter what happens, we have some channels that we can get all the news out and hype about.
Oh, yeah, that's what I figured. And we're still going to do, like, we have all these cool exclusives planned, like really, really cool ones. And we're going to do those regardless. But just having it there, because we have maybe some special signings planned at the booth. Yes. And again, I can't wait to be able to share the news of some of the stuff that we're going to be announcing. It's so cool. And it's like, I mean, I've told you some of it kind of off channel. And it's going to be cool.
Vault box.
Yep, vault box. Oh, it's awesome. But I'm trying to think what else. I know yeah, we're probably going to have to wrap up soon now that I look at the time, because we have a board meeting every week or every other week. So our big board call and update. So hopefully we're going to have a New York Comic Con decision by the end of the day, knock on wood. Mm-hmm. But yeah, again, anything else? Well, actually, we should do a questions, right? We just started bantering all the time.
Yeah. Okay.
So do you have, let's end the show with a quick question. So, you shoot first.
My question for you.
Okay.
Is there any other like career path that you wish you had followed just for fun? Not that you're regretting any of your life decisions now, but were there any career paths that you could have envisioned as a what if episode of your life?
Oh yeah, baseball player.
Yeah.
I played high-end baseball. I was a catcher. And my dad always constantly, but I think every quarter he's like, you could have been the next Joe DiMaggio. So, and I'll share the story another time, but I had to make a decision when I became a stockbroker. I got offered a minor league contract, but the company that I was with, being a stockbroker, wouldn't allow me to do both. So I had to make that decision, and I just didn't think I was good enough to do that. And it turned out I was right, because the guy who I would have been taken over for, because they had 2 injuries, his name is Chris Iannetta, and I'm 41 years old, and he, I think, is still playing.
Oh, awesome.
Yes. So he would have been in front of me, per se, at that position. So I'm pretty sure I made the right choice. But yeah, being a baseball player, honestly, I just didn't love it enough. I love the game. I still play. I'm very active in playing softball. And I love baseball. Obviously, the Oakland A's are near and dear to me. But that's a career path that I would have at least attempted. That would not have been really the brightest decision, to say the truth.
So somewhere out there is a James Hake that is sitting the bench waiting for this other fellow to keel over.
Sitting the bench. I was always known as a good clubhouse guy. Like, I can make everybody laugh. And like, coincidentally, I want to do a comic on that. I'll reveal it here. I want to call it like Skip or Skipper. Ooh. That follows like the manager. Like, people, when they see a manager of a team, they're like, oh, he just has to make in-game decisions. It's like, no, you got to manage, 24 players. When you're like basically on a road trip for 6 months, and you have players that are just became millionaires. Some of them who are like, it's just so fascinating. You're basically a den mother for all these people. And you don't realize that you have to manage these personalities and make sure they don't fight. And I just think it's absolutely fascinating. So that's a story that I want to do. And hopefully with some of my connections that I can actually get some like real managers and stuff and interview them and kind of get them to help me through the process. But that's definitely in my game plan for some kind of future series revolving around a baseball manager.
I like that. Right. I don't think there's anything even close to that out there. That would be super interesting.
Yeah, I think so too, because you just don't even as a baseball fan, it took me a while to even realize. I was like, man, you got this one guy who's like the biggest player in the world, but he could be the biggest jerk in the world. And you have to make sure that like your teammates, because you remember baseball's a team sport. So It's not all one by one guy. It's really fascinating. And to hear some of the stories, just some friends who did play ball, like you just hear it and you're like, wow, that would make a great movie or show. And I'm like, boom, click, light bulb, let's do it. All right. So my question, gosh, I want to actually ask you the same question. It was such a good question. What would you have done if you weren't a comic store owner?
Well, my other possible career path that I went down for a little while was a police officer. So I could be out there
really
fighting crimes and trying to make people behave.
That's awesome. Did you ever how far did you go along? Did you go to take some classes? Did you go to?
I actually got hired as an Oklahoma City police officer. Was just a recruit in the academy. Did it all the way through to the last month of the academy and found out I have a low blood pressure, which was something that meant that I could not stand in a line during a riot and hold a riot shield and not move. I need to move around. So it would have been a danger to my fellow officer. So that is not the path that I ended up on. That's
so fascinating. You should write a story about that.
Being an almost that.
And I'm gonna put you on blast. I want that story and that idea you told me.
I'm totally gonna do it. I'll send you screenshots of the character designs. I've got all the character backgrounds set up. And
did you do the designs already? Have you paid an artist or worked with an artist to do?
Just designs in words, like their personality traits and what their backgrounds are.
That's great.
Like that. I
So are
promise.
you gonna,
I've been working on it.
I'm gonna share off channel. I'll share with you some of the artists that have reached out to Scout about wanting to work with us. So see if any of those styles hit, because I'm gonna help you with this, because we all here want to see a Jen King comic.
I'm ready to do this.
All right. Well, we're ready to help.
I'll do it. I'll stop getting up in the middle of the night and playing with comic books, and I'll start writing instead.
Or how about just split your time 50-50?
Yeah,
Again, full circle the conversation, time management.
Yep.
Make it where it's like half an hour a day. You're like, I'm going to write, or I'm going to at least jot down ideas.
That's what Stephen King says. What's the key to writing is to write.
It really is. It's the truth. When people, it's like, man, I have a cool idea. And it's like, oh, I had that idea, but did you implement it? It's all about implementing. Everybody can have great ideas. It's just having that passion and that desire to implement it.
Perfect.
Well, awesome. Well, I hope you have a great
meeting. I say hi.
I will. I'll tell all the boys you said hello, and the ladies as well. But again, great talking with you as always. I hope you have a good week, and we'll see everybody next week on I Must Ask You a Question with Jen and James. Take care, everybody. Have a good week.